inside of you. It's inside, you got it. Let me help you to spot it. You've got it all inside of you. This world can be a prison, a play yard. Peace of mind's inside and ain't far. Above the clouds, so prepare to take off as we come together off the radar. Far away from everything. Let's release the stress and strain. No need for the baggage bay, cause we came here to heal that pain. Before the ways of the world they blind you, allow me to take this time to remind you, in the same place that your hurt resides, you can find heaven and healing right inside you. And if you need help, let me guide you past the lies that you're aligned to, till you're redesigned to find truth in the beauty I see inside you. This world can be your prison, a play yard. Peace of mind's inside and ain't far. Above the clouds, so prepare to take off as we come together off the radar. Far away from everything. Let's release the stress and strain. No need for the baggage bay, cause we came here to heal that pain.
The lighthouse, guiding the righteous is all that I'm about. And now I'll be doing it till my light's out and my time's out. I'm only passing on lessons that I received from those steering me in the right route. They always said I was fly, but that I had to believe in my wings and touch the skies. Have the guts to try, possess a lust for life, required for me to do more than just get by. And now I see you in the distance, amongst the misfits, in the midst that clouds your vision of all the gifts that God gave you when He made you, along with the stars, moons, the planets, and sun rays that raised you. So through the fog of all mediocrity, I'm shining this little light for all to see. You already possess your own fresh, but if you have trouble finding it, just call on me.
This world can be a prison, a play yard. Peace of mind's inside and ain't far. Above the clouds, so prepare to take off as we come together off the radar. Far away from everything. Let's release the stress and strain. No need for the baggage bay, cause we came here to heal that pain. This world can be your prison, a play yard. Peace of mind's inside and ain't far. Above the clouds, so prepare to take off as we come together off the radar. Far away from everything. Let's release the stress and strain. No need for the baggage bay, cause we came here to heal that pain.
All right, we're going to be getting started soon. Hang out with me. If you're not on YouTube, we just playing a little intro. In a minute, we're going to get started. We're talking about Jihad, Sober Jihad. We're talking about the Sober Jihad, what it is and what it does. All right, got about
I want to talk to you today from the subject, how to be crazy enough to get what you want. What you have to do is lose your no active mind
Hello, y'all. All right, stay the course. And this is GWT. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's good.
Which one of these minds is it that you have to lose to get what you want? The no active mind.
Staring at your greatness, feeling ill-prepared, just a little crazy, just a little scared, leaning on the logic, keeping you from your cares, just a little crazy, just a little scared, that normalcy that nags you to stay and never dare to move beyond the box that the devil has prepared. Your friends and your folks were raised and played there, so it's all they ever known and all they have to share. Few to try to push you, many to keep you there. Just a little crazy, just a little scared. Chance is a choice and curses live in your cares. Just a little crazy, just a little scared. A state of stagnation with no flash or flare. Days are all the same with no glow or glare. The sickness that secures you when fears are all shared. Where very few are crazy and many are just scared. The status quo's tragic but lingers in the air, blocking the blessings that await you upstairs. There's only one way that you can go from here. Just a little crazy, just a little scared. To the promise that the process breeds if you can bear. To give chase, it awaits all who dare to run it down and grab it regardless of the fears. Blessing those crazy enough to do it scared. So I'll fight on until I right all wrongs. From the daytime until the night lights on, I'ma take flight cause it's the right time for me to write and enlighten the minds I've spawned. To show up, grow up, and glow up. Rearrange reality and sicken my enemies till they throw up. Trapped in their own minds while I glow up. putting it down for minds till I go up above past failures, ignoring all fears, cause that false evidence ain't as real as it appears. When you drown out doubt and blood, sweat, and tears, and focus on your goal, the way will be made clear. So visualize all the victories that you want to see, and what your mind projects is what you're gonna see. On the screen displaying your lifetime, you'll find that it projects what originates in the mind.
This used to be a movie house. Way back up there, somewhere.
1 minute and 30 seconds and we on with it.
Projector out. Up here is a big screen that we've used 2 or 3 times. What you see on
I'll
that
put it up
screen
in the building.
does
Okay.
not originate on
What's
that
going
screen.
on?
What you see on the
Sorry
screen
about the Super Bowl. I
originates
actually
where?
wanted to use
In
it to
the
win.
projector.
It's
So
all
you
good.
see,
Mahomes good
what
people
you
too.
are experiencing on the screen
All
of
right,
your
1 minute and
life
counting.
does
1 minute
not
and counting, y'all.
originate on the screen.
We'll get started.
If you don't like what's on the screen, it doesn't do any good to get mad with the screen. See, if you see something on that screen that you don't like, you could go up there with a knife and just cut it to pieces. But what would happen? It would reflect on the back wall. If you want to change what is on the screen of experience, you have to go up to the projector of mind. What I see with my inner eye has power to displace and replace that which is in my outer world. The film in the projector is greater than the image on the screen. If you want to change the image on the screen, you got to go back up to the projector and change the film. What is that? The thought. What you see out there is really controlled by what you're seeing in here.
All right, y'all. Welcome. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. And if not, hopefully we can make it better with some news you can use and just maybe, interesting discussion on the topic today. The title of today's sermon on sobriety, as you can see, for those who are checking me out on YouTube or on Facebook, it's a sober jihad, sober jihad. The outer jihad, the inner jihad, and the enemies. Now, of course, anybody who's been around for the past, decade or so, you may have an idea, your idea, or maybe society or the news cycle or current, well, maybe not so much current, but definitely past events since 9/11 especially, has shaped your perception of exactly what a jihad is. All right. And there are a few reasons why I wanted to talk about this. One, because of course, in my studies, I told you guys, for you guys to know, I study a lot of different books, from the Bible to the Quran to the Bhagavad Gita, all the way down to other books that, secular books, 50th Law, which is 50 Cent's version on the 48 Laws of Power. I'm just a consummate reader. All right. So, and in that I've learned, and really I learned this in the past, my youngest son here, that guy, the little guy right there with the blue shirt on, his name is Jihad Omari Saterfield. I named him, all right, proudly. All right. So I've always known about the true meaning of jihad, but the interesting thing is, it is that within the concept of jihad, as far as what it actually means, all right, there are principles and there are things in it that can be applied to your sobriety, all right, to your sobriety, your self-care, any form of personal improvement, all right. You can take concepts and principles and within the idea of jihad from the Muslim faith and attribute it to that and use it in aiding in
just like the Bible or any other, holy book, aided in your struggle, or maybe even just, if nothing else, give you more perspective, whether you're a devout Christian or a devout Muslim or a devout atheist. Knowledge is knowledge, right? Wisdom is wisdom. Now, as far as your personal spiritual belief, that's one thing. Wisdom that can be used in the world can come from all kinds of different texts, all kinds of different sources, right? Even evil sources, even negative things. And we're going to talk about that actually, and why there is a motivation for me to name my son Jihad and my interpretation of what jihad is, because it's actually may even kind of differ from what I'm going to discuss that comes out of the Quran. So with regards to when we talk about a sober or jihad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first play a couple of clips. This is the first one's going to be a 60-second clip from a practicing Muslim explaining in 60 seconds, giving you kind of an idea of what jihad is, to kind of dispel, so we can separate the truth from the perception, the general perception. All right. So I'm going to start from, this is going to be 60 seconds and then I'm going to explain it. So for my people on IG, like I said, you definitely are invited to go to the YouTube channel. You can click the LinkedIn link on in the in the bio or my profile, and it'll take you, you'll see it at the top, it'll take you directly to the YouTube clip or to the YouTube broadcast. All right, so let me share this real quick. Y'all know me, still learning how to get better with this whole sharing thing. All right, let's see if I got this right here. Give me a sec. Okay, it says I shared it. Why is it, where'd it go? Is that it? No, that's not it. Hold on, y'all. Let me try this again. Let me see. No, it says it's sharing. Okay, why? Give me a sec, y'all. Let me see something. Here I go. Okay, here we go. Y'all know I'm still working at this here. I appreciate y'all patience. Y'all, the few, the proud that's been rocking with me, man. Love y'all to death. All right, here we go. All right, so check this out.
The word jihad is used in the Quran in a very generic, all-inclusive way. In other words, jihad literally means to strive towards God. Any kind of struggle in the way of God is a jihad. So there's the mental jihad, which is reasoning. There is the spiritual jihad, which is the best form of jihad. In fact, when the Quran talks of war and fighting, it doesn't use the word jihad. This is interesting. Most people, it uses the word harb, H-A-R-B in Arabic means war. And therefore, this idea of a holy war is a totally nonsensical in Arabic, because the word holy war does not exist. The Quran only allows fighting against those who fight you. In other words, in self-defense. It's not disbelief that is to be fought against. In other words, you cannot fight somebody simply because he or she doesn't believe in God. Because the Quran is very clear that there is no compulsion in religion. It's very frustrating as a Muslim that you are somehow on the only word or the only dimension of Islam that is being heard is because of these barbaric acts of ISIL.
All right. Sorry. All right. So what he was basically saying in the clip is that, first of all, the word jihad in one word means struggle, to strive, to struggle. All right. And he's talking about how it's been, appropriated by extremists and by the media in order to shape it in a different way. But the fact of the matter is, it's a struggle. So when you look at the title of even today's broadcast, right, which is a sober jihad, essentially what that means is it's a sober struggle, your struggle towards sobriety, how you're active, not just an idea about sobriety. Oh, one day I'll stop drinking, or no, it's when you actively start taking steps to end
your bout with alcoholism or whatever your addiction is, food, toxic relationships, a job you hate. Maybe you're going to school so you can get a degree so that you can leave that job you hate. That struggle is actually a jihad. That is a struggle. That is to strive. And it's a strive towards something better. It's a strive towards God, right? Or good. Any type of improvement. It's not striving to destroy something. It is striving to improve or protect something. All right. Within the guards of confrontation, it's only a matter of defending what you have. So struggling towards sobriety or defending your sobriety, that is jihad. Okay. So your sober jihad is actually to when you're going towards it. And if you have it, struggling to maintain it. That is, and it just as in the Quran, what they're talking about is striving to get closer to God, right? And then when you get there, struggling to stay there and to not let anything knock you off your square, anything knock that out of you, right? And defending your presence in the Lord, right? Your presence in God, your godly self, because remember, you came from God minus addictions, minus fallibilities, and you came into a world where you pick these things up, right? And in all the books, they talk about that, right? Whether it's Eve eating the apple, us transgressing against, God's will. Addiction is nothing but another form of transgression, right? And so we're trying to change that, all right? Now, within, and there's a lot, the jihad itself means struggle. So that means even its interpretation amongst Muslims can vary, right? But one major commonality I found is that they talk about the inner jihad and the outer jihad. Okay, so you have the inner jihad and you have the outer jihad. In some people use the terms greater jihad and lesser jihad. I prefer inner and outer, and they've had debates about that, why one would be greater than the other. Although I do, and I'll explain, and I can kind of understand why they would say one is greater than the other. But they're both equal. They both need to be dealt with. They're two parts of the struggle. So with regards, hold on. Give me one sec, y'all. Let me make this bigger, make it better, easier for me to look at. All right, I'm trying to get my banners together as I get it going here. Okay, so with regards to the inner jihad, your inner jihad is essentially a battle with yourself, the battle to seek self-improvement. So for us, our battle for sobriety within ourselves, dealing with our inner triggers, dealing with our inner cravings, has nothing to do with anything else. It's all within us. Our fallibilities, the things that we need to deal with, right? So that we can have the right mind state and a pure mind state to keep us strengthened in sobriety. All right. That's the inner jihad, right? Which some will call, in their case, the greater jihad. Right? But we call that the inner jihad. Now, the outer jihad is to fight external forces that would lead you to your addiction or that would try to rob you of your sobriety. So that's outside forces. And I'm going to talk about some of the forces using terms that they use in the Quran. All right. So you have the inner jihad, which is the battle within yourself. Right. And just like in anybody who's read Sun Tzu's The Art of War, he talks about, when you know your enemy, you can still be defeated. When you know yourself, you'll be stronger still. But when you know the enemy and you know yourself, that is the path to victory. Right. So if you know yourself, that's part of your inner jihad, getting to know yourself, self-discovery, understanding what, because everybody's cravings are different. Everybody's lives are different. What is it within your life or in your mind that sets you to lean you towards your addiction? Right. What are those fallibilities that you have within yourself that other people may not have? So it's a personal jihad. Now, the outer jihad are, what are the external forces that can weigh on you, that can affect your inner jihad. And that's the reason why sometimes they'll say the inner is the greater of the two, because they essentially say if you master yourself, right, if you win that war within yourself, then you can control your external environment. So I can kind of understand, although it's not, because they've argued, no, that's not written in the Quran. Because in the Quran, it's written as jihad. The concept is just overall, in their case, in the case of Muslims, it's, practicing being a good Muslim, striving to be towards Allah, and striving the spiritual journey. But it's any type of battle. Okay. And so they actually, within the Quran and within the Muslim faith, they talk about a few of essentially the enemies. Now we talk about the enemies, right? So one, and these are, you have human enemies, like just literally physical people. And then they have a set of four, which are the nafs. They actually pronounce it nefs, but it's spelled nafs. I don't know why. But the nefs, the dunya, shaitan, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but I believe it's mahal, right? So you have human enemies, then you have nafs, dunya, shaitan, mahal. And I'm going to go through each of these. Now, they'll say the nafs are the primary one, right? Because these are your whims and your inner urges and your whims, what I want to do this. It's your wants. It's your undisciplined passions, right? Certain my traveling people know about certain things with regards to subduing our passions, right? And it's about dealing with your passions, your whims. Oh, I want to drink. Oh, I want to feel good. I want to do that. That's inner. That's part of your inner jihad, right? The nefs. And they talk about that a lot. That ultimately you really have to deal with your nefs, right? Then they have the dunya. The dunya is the materialistic world. So things that would lead you to greed, the physical outside, the materialistic world itself that can lead you away in the Muslim faith, away from Allah, away from God, right? So the physical things that can lead us away from sobriety, right? I've had people who've told me, I was sober until, this female I really wanted told me she wanted me to drink with her. Okay. Now we're talking about one, she's a human enemy, right? Well, not necessarily, an enemy to your sobriety, right? And there's a materialistic, worldly constitution to her, right? So you have the dunya. Then you have shaitan, which they say is just the devil, the open enemy, right? Direct attacks on your sobriety, direct attacks. Like you need to drink, whether it's advertisements, trying to get you to drink, all of these things that are specifically built to draw you to your addiction. That's the only reason why they exist. So they look at that. Shaitan is just another word for Satan. Your open enemy, makes no qualms about it. They want you to consume your addiction, right? And then you have the mahal, which is the social environment. So when you look at your social identity, how that can work against you. When you look at peer pressure, right? The environment you're in, being in a club where there's a lot of alcohol, right? That pressure that can come upon you, right? In your external jihad is against that environment, battling the environment, right? So these are the enemies, if you will, that we all have to deal with internally and externally, right? So you can see how these concepts can actually apply when we look at our struggle for sobriety or your sober jihad, right? Now, I want to kind of parallel this to kind of help give you a little, maybe for those that may be struggling with grasping the concept. Let's say we look at a struggle for a young lady for celibacy, right? Let's say we're looking at that. You have a young lady, she's on a celibacy jihad, right? Which can be a jihad. There can be there's an inner jihad, an inner struggle with regards to that, fighting for her celibacy. And there can be an external jihad for fighting for her celibacy. So if we look at, say, we'll go from the bottom up. Well, no, we'll start with Shaitan, the devil, evil. That's rape. Rapists, people who would physically try to jump on this woman and take her celibacy away from her, right? That's Shaitan. Direct enemy. I am here to take what you are trying to keep. I'm not playing with you. This is what I'm here to do, right? Anything trying to convince you to do that, right? The dunya would be that. Sex on TV, sex looking chic. We see it in magazines, these videos targeting our children, right? That's dunya, making it look shiny, making it look valuable, right? These external forces, that's the outer jihad, to get her to compromise her celibacy and give it up, right? It's not necessarily jumping on you and forcefully taking it from you, but it's trying to get you there. It's in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? It's dressing it just like with alcohol. Bottles look all nice. 1492 bottles look like works of art, right? Pretty girl, bottle girls, they rarely look ugly, right? For the fellas at the club, right? All of these things, your stars, how they make it look. It's glamorous. All of these things are part of the dunya, right? And how do you battle that? You discuss it. You have to take it head on, whether you write about it, you talk about it, you have to directly engage it. You have to identify it, because the dunya is going to be a lot slicker than a shaitan. Shaitan in the celibacy is rape. You got to physically fight that bad boy. You've got to physically fight with regards to celibacy. You physically fighting, a young lady would physically fight a rapist to stop them from taking her celibacy, right? With the dunya, it's trying not to be convinced. And that's where identification comes. For those that are on my IG, you guys know I point things out a lot. I pointed out that at the last, major boxing fight, what was it, Gigi and somebody else, Hennessy labels all over the boxing ring. Hennessy everywhere. That's dunya, right? You got the high power, you got all kind of rich people in the boxing thing, right? All this glitz and glamour, and then you got Hennessy aligning itself through, label and product placement, right? Showed you guys the record cover with Chris Brown and Young Thug, and the lean and the cigarettes. Because people don't understand that Chris Brown promotes smoking cigarettes. A lot of people don't understand that, but I peeped that out a while ago. And there's a reason why I say it out loud. That's why you'll see pictures of Chris Brown smoking cigarettes. You see him standing on a Newport box on the album he did with Young Thug. I've never heard anybody bring that up. I've seen members of the Migos cigarettes, because they can't outwardly advertise to you. So what they do is, hey, here's some free boxes, and here's a couple grand. Just once we see you, on at a show or whatever, it could be on the low. As long as there's a picture, there's something that we can release to the public, right? That's that sly, underhanded product placement. And the dunya with regards with the ladies is, everything from the music to the videos. Y'all know they're promoting our girls to be absolute whores. It's ridiculous, right? Then if we talk about the nefs, with celibacy, it's inner urges. These young girls start getting the butterflies in their stomachs for the boys. And then you got the external thing saying that, a grown woman would have done this by now. And you know what I'm saying? Oh, you still a little kid. All of these things work. And then you have those nefs, the inner whims, the urges, the physical urges, the mental, all of these things coming into place. And for the young ladies with regards to celibacy, that could be the hardest part, dealing with it, because if you're internally secure, the external, outside of maybe physically fighting a rapist, right, you have a better chance of dealing with, whether it's the dunya, the materialistic, trying to convince them, whether it's the mahal, which we didn't talk about, the social environment. Now this is where we go from our advertisement to the people around you, people talking, oh yeah, I'm not a little girl anymore, I'm a woman, right? And guys fall victim of this too, young men. I just saw a video about a 13-year-old boy who this 31-year-old woman is pregnant by a 13-year-old boy, right? And so there's a lot of, yeah, you said plus trauma, exactly. And so there's a lot of that they have that we all have to deal with in some form or fashion with the social environment. For us as drinkers, we all know the social environment is filled, especially if you're grown, with alcohol, attempts to have you drink. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man 12 Faces of Summer. What's good with you, man? Hey man, when we gonna do that interview, man? I gotta talk to you, man. Let's get that together. Mr. J, what's going on? Lamont Sinclair, what's going on, man? Shout out to y'all. Definitely, comment where you from, where you at. If you have anything to add or questions, I definitely feel free to answer them for my people on IG. And that goes for Facebook and YouTube as well. But yeah, so when we talk about these enemies, the nefs, the dunya, the shaitan, the mahal, right? It essentially your inner urges, which are the nefs, dunya, the materialistic world, right? Shaitan, your open enemies, the ones that are just trying to knock you off the wagon or your square, and then the mahal, the social environment. All of these things are part of your inner or your outer jihad. The nefs, that's the inner part. All of the others are part of the outer, the dunya, the shaitan, and the mahal, right? And so to address them, so the question is, okay, so we know this, we know that these are part and parcel of what we have to deal with in our jihad for sobriety. How do we do that, right? And for those that have years in sobriety, hey, if you've got suggestions, definitely put them in the comments. I'll go over a few. I go over them all the time. I do talk about them in my book, Sobriety in Black, which you can get on Amazon or at sobrietyinblack.com. I'm actually putting together a 5-week course for those who want to, either start their sober journey or supercharge it. All right. Or just need to, get with people. I'm going to be putting that together with my method that's mentioned in the book, the Black Method, right? Begin, learn, act, connect, and keep going. And so, we deal with that. But some of the things that you can do to address these separate enemies, right, are the things that we kind of have to understand. So when we're dealing with, let's say, the nefs, since I've got a couple of folks in here I know that are walking a sober journey. When we're talking about the nefs, we're talking about our inner urges to drink, our mindset. Okay, somebody mentioned trauma, right? What are some of the things that we can do to address that inner jihad, the inner cravings, right? So that would be the question with regards to the nefs. And I'm starting with the nefs because really I do believe, even though they say there's not a greater jihad or a lesser jihad, they consider this one to be the greater of the two. I definitely think that when you're dealing with yourself, one, I believe that the one thing about the nefs is it's the one thing you have the direct power over, right? You may not have direct power over the external environment to change it. You do have power over how you react to it, how you respond to it. But that all deals with how you feel inside and how you deal with the information when it comes to you, the cravings when they come to you, right? What do you do? And if you don't know what to do, there are 3 things you can do. You start by focusing, you plan, and then you act. You prepare, right? You focus on preparation. So if you know that you're going to a birthday party at a club and you've decided that you're going to go, but you know that there's going to be the urge to drink, then what can you do to respond to those urges, which are pretty much inevitable? That's an inner jihad, right? Going to therapy is dealing with your inner jihad. That's bringing in a general in your army to help you fight that battle, right? What do you do? Okay, when I go to the club, I don't want to feel like I'm not part of the group, so I'm going to make sure I get me something non-alcoholic to drink. Like for me, that's what I did in the beginning. Get me something non-alcoholic to drink, but I put it in a liquor glass. So now the social pressure, right? The dunya is let off of me. And in my mind, I don't feel as self-conscious. That's how I fought part of my inner jihad. Then going to the therapy to talk to my therapist about what led me to drink, and changing and strengthening and empowering my perspective and empowering my thoughts over those cravings and how to deal with them helped me. One of the things I learned and now I practice and tell people is it's about detachment. When you have these feelings, study them. You guys know I've said this often. Anything you study comes under your power. It's like putting a chain on a dog. Once you start studying things, if you think about a stethoscope, what is it, a microscope? You know, when you look at the thing, I forget which one it is, one of them scopes. You're standing over the thing you're studying. You automatically take power over the things that you study. So instead of running from those cravings, you can study them. Instead of running from those feelings, you can study them. One of the things, and that's how you practice detachment, separating the craving from you as the person. It is not you. It is something you're holding on to that you want to let go of, right? But how do you let go of it? You study it. You figure out why it's sticking to your hands, right? So one thing I may do is I may ask you, you know, in my sessions when I talk to clients, I'll say, okay, well, when you feel a craving to drink now? Yeah. I'll say, okay, point to the part of your body where you feel it. Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel the craving to drink in your throat? Do you feel it in your head? Where do you physically feel it? Because when you feel nervous, you do the same thing with any feeling. Where do you feel it? Point to it. Second you do that, you may not know it, shrinks automatically. Because how you think it is your craving is all over your body. You are craving the alcohol. That's how you literally say it. I'm craving alcohol. Man, I want to drink. I want to drink. You might as well say, I am a drink. But then when you say, I have the feeling to drink, it goes from this to this. You see that? It's also in the wording. You know, I'm a communications professor, so I'm very big on how we talk about things. I don't say, I want to drink or I feel like drinking. I'll say, I have this feeling to drink inside of me. Where inside of you? When you go to a location, now it goes, boom, now you're, right? Then I'll say, okay, if you had to give that feeling a color, what color would you give it? Oh, man, you know, I have the feeling it's purple or it's red because it hurts. I want it so bad it hurts, so it feels red, you know? Then I'll say, okay, describe it. And the more you start describing it, the smaller it gets because you're getting power over it. So that's how you deal with your nefs. That's one way. And you detach. You mentally detach from it by studying it, by taking it on. You don't run from it. You let it sit and you study that bad boy. All right. I remember, and I've told this story before. I used to have a paper route. And there was one time a dog was chasing me. I was chasing me. I was getting scared riding my bike, you know, jumped up like it was going to nip my leg. Went home, told my dad, was like, Baba, because I call my dad Baba, just like my kids do me. It's tradition, baby. But I said, Baba, I'm scared, this dog, you know, He said, you know, all right, I'm going to go with you. So he went with me. Here comes the dog. Baba says, stop. Hanief, stop. He stopped. I stopped. The second we both stopped, the dog stopped. The second the dog stopped, he went from this big to that big. Then my dad got off his bike. He said, get off your bike. Got off my bike. We just stood there looking at the dog because the dog's looking at us. We're studying the dog. Now the dog's looking at us like, hold on. They're not scared. They stopped. Now they're looking at me. So I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. Dog's looking at me. He tried to bark a little bit. Then my dad started barking at the dog. That dog was gone. All right. My dad brought it to that dog, and that dog was gone. That dog didn't mess with me no more. And I ran into other dogs, and I did exactly like my father did. Jumped off, studied it, shrunk it, then advanced. And that's, you got to do the same thing with your nefs in this inner jihad. You've got to take it on. That's why you got to, if it's trauma, you've got to have those discussions, right? That's what therapists help you do, right? You know, that's what you got to do. Establishing your whys. I see somebody posted in here, don't want to be on a dialysis machine. That's real. Establishing your whys is another way to deal with your dunyas, with your cravings. Also, another way to deal with your mahals, the external environment, right? Put that up there. All of these other ones, you know, your social environment, knowing your whys. Why do I need to stop drinking? Why would my life be better if I was sober? That's the way I prefer to word it, right? Of course you need to stop drinking, but why would your life be better? What do you have to gain? I talk about the 12 superpowers of sobriety. That's just a list of whys. Sobriety, superpowers that you get the second you stop drinking, and that you keep and strengthen with every day, one day at a time, right? And so as you understand these things, as you establish your whys, you detach from your cravings, you actively detach, talking about it, writing it down. I'm old school, but it really does benefit you, even if you can talking to your phone and all that, to physically write things down. All right, there is a power in that. I want to make sure I get that out to you guys. All right, identifying your whys. Writing about, thinking about, talking about, advertising your enemies, the open ones, the shaitans, whether it's the person that's trying to shame you into drinking or the advertisements at the boxing ring. I remember I just came back from South Beach. I was actually going to try and take a picture. It would have been a cool little meme, but I was scared to get in the ocean with my phone, didn't want to drop it. But one thing I noticed when I went to South Beach, you know, so you imagine you're looking out, say behind us, you got the beach, right? We're on a chair facing the water. And it's just, you can't see nothing for miles, just blue water. And above it, it's a bunch of planes flying by with big old banners. And you can guess what were on 99.9% of the banners. Well, really, I'd say 80. So 20% was advertising events like, oh, Diddy's going to be at Club Live. Big old banner, Diddy, Club Live tonight, 10 o'clock. But the other 80%, tequila. This, or then the only one that wasn't was, for some reason, Axe body spray. They got some new Axe body spray, and this show you how this advertisement works, right? The dunya, right? So big, and it said something like, I guess they did some study that Axe smells better than Chanel. Right. Smell like a middle school bathroom or something. But another 90%, all tequila, liquor, just, you know, Jack Daniels, just, I mean, just incessantly. I was like, wow. And I was going to try and take a picture, like pointing up, like, boy, there they go. But yeah, you can't escape it, right? But did I drink? Nope. Why? My inner jihad's intact. I'm always fighting that. That's why we say one day at a time. You shrink, you know, the enemy of, oh my God, lifelong sobriety. Oh my God, this is day one. I can't imagine going my whole life. Stop. Don't worry about your whole life. Worry about not drinking in the next 5 minutes. Worry about not drinking, and 5 minutes later, worry about not drinking in the next 5 minutes. Don't beat yourself down about telegraphing. You might be dead tomorrow. You know, no offense, but hey, you might be dead tomorrow. So don't worry about whether you're not going to drink tomorrow. Worry about, focus on keeping yourself strong enough to not drink now. And then work on your inner jihad so that tomorrow will be easier if God blesses you with another day. Right? So, you know, these are just some of the things you can think about. Alternatives to drinks. You know, I am an NA brew drinker. right? I was out last night at a club, and I took my Heineken Zeros with me. It was a good BYOB place. Had my Heineken Zeros with my Red Bulls, and I was good all night. You know what I'm saying? Partying, having a good time. You know, but that's how I rock. Some people don't drink none of that. It's all good. Some people drink maybe kombucha. Some people, you know, concoct mocktails or fruit drinks. You know, find your BYOB places. You know, you can start there, and then when you gather up your strength, you know, to where you can go to the club and you don't have to worry about it. You know, it's not as much of a struggle, of a jihad as it may be in the beginning. Then there you go, right? Let me see. But that's kind of what I got for you guys today. I hope I cleared up some of what, and I'm gonna play one more video. So just to kind of dispel, because like I said, man, I think, you know, when we get past this whole idea of thinking that a jihad means a holy war, which it doesn't, because just like in the video, he said jihad doesn't mean war, holy, neither one. They got two completely different words that don't even go together. The funny thing is, holy war isn't even a concept that they talk about, but here in America, here we go, using two words with Latin roots, just decide to put that together and say that's what it is, right? Once you uncover the truth, you can find, like I said, I'm always struggling to find the good, to find the God. And that's why I named my son Jihad, because he is a warrior that is striving to fight to find God in all things. In all things, good or bad. So when he's fighting to find God in all things, if something bad happens, the lesson is God. That is the good that comes from it. What you learn from it, and what you actively, you know, what you learn from it, right? Negative experiences, trauma. Yes, the trauma can happen. Is it positive in and of itself? No. But what you can take from it, learn from it, maybe help somebody else who suffered from trauma. That's when you turn it. That's the God in it. That's the God. That's what you're struggling to do. That's the jihad, to find that. I mean, even in the Christian faith, was Jesus being crucified a positive thing? You may say no, you know, and nailing any man to, you know, pole, cross, you know, I'm not going to get into all the historics, but, you know, and attempting to kill somebody in and of itself is not a good thing. But what we learn from what happened and what we got, the lessons that were left to us, right? It's actually, you know, what do they say? He died so that we may live, right? That's finding the God in it. And that goes for all of these things. Any book that you read, anything that you go through, any trauma you've endured, finding the God, because a lot of what will help you mentally is in finding the lesson. Why did that happen? Right? What can I learn from it? How can I help somebody else who might suffer from that get through it? That's kind of why I've decided to do what I do now, you know, in being a recovery coach, in writing my book. I wanted to leave something. And I think that everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And I'm thinking about doing a compilation of stories, actually. So if you're interested in, you know, submitting a story or something, whether it's a story of redemption, whether it's a story of your lowest point in drinking, right? And, you know, and I don't care if we could change the names, it could be anonymous, it doesn't matter. But if there's a story you'd like to get out, or a lesson, something you've learned, maybe something you haven't heard that you experienced that might help another person, please, my DMs are open. Holler at me. Let's talk. And let's attack all of these enemies straight on, right? The dunya, right? The materialistic attempts to get us to walk back to our addiction, or to get our children addicted to these things, right? Satan, outward enemies, identifying them and attacking them head on, right? The social environment, redefining it. When I post videos of the young rappers that are talking about not drinking, like if you go to my IG page, you'll see Tyler, the Creator, Yo Gotti, Royce the 5'9", I purposefully find those videos because I'm trying to talk to the youth. You know, when we become adults, a lot of the treatment stuff is really kind of focused on us. And I think that we need, in order to cut down that population, we need to get to the future adults, start talking to these kids, right? I was blessed enough, you know, one of my sons, couple of my son's favorite rappers, Denzel Curry and Royce the 5'9", both spoke about their sobriety, and I sent him the videos, and he was like, man, you know, he has a new kind of understanding, and he's never drank in his life, but I've told him the truth about my life. He knows what time it is. But now it's familiar with him. And he even said, you know, yeah, it's really cool that, you know, these rappers I look up to, they don't drink, they don't get high. And it lets him know that he can be him and he doesn't have to go that route. Because sometimes as parents, you know, just like when we were kids, we may not listen to our parents, but if our homeboy or our homegirl tell us the same thing, then now we all ears, right? And my thing is, it's not about ego. It's about him getting the lesson, however I can do it. All right. So also too, if you know any videos, if you find any videos, anything, send it to me. I will edit it up and put it out there, because all of the other stuff that we see, this rapper goes to jail, this singer, you know, falls to drugs, this one, you know, did this, or this one's doing this, or this one, you know, whatever, that stuff gets advertised. That's the dunya, right? Big Craig, good to see you, team. You know what I'm saying? But the other side of it, the rappers that don't drink, the rappers that don't, you know, aren't super duper promiscuous, or the singers or entertainers, anybody, all of that. We need to get all of that media. We need to get it out there. So you send it to me, I can put it out there. All right. If you've got a good word, hey, send it to me. You know what I'm saying? If you want to shoot a little video making your testimony, send it to me. Hey man, let's all contribute, because hey, there may be a day when you're gone and at least you can say you've got a piece of media, something out there in the metaverse, right? That speaks to something, you know, you adding to the canon of sobriety. All of us can add to the canon of sobriety. And it's the least you can do. I don't care if you cut on the video and just say how to let people know how long you haven't been drinking or haven't been doing drugs, or shoot, have stayed off of sugar, whatever it is. All right. So that's basically it, guys. It's just what I wanted, you know, it was kind of something I had tripped up on, and something I've looked at over the years with regards to the whole discrepancy with regards to what a jihad is, the inner and the outer, and, you know, really looking at how we can use that information for the good, for sobriety, for our own sobriety, and to help others if they may be trying to gain a perspective. You never know. You may run into a Muslim, or you may run into another person that isn't even of the Muslim faith, but you can grab some concepts from there and give them a perspective that maybe they hadn't thought about. All right. So I want to wish you the best. Oh, we got crack. Yeah. Crack, cocaine, heroin, all of those things. And all of these concepts can help and aid in addressing those addictions. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that poured into you. I hope you guys have a great day. You know, definitely spread this. You know, my YouTube channel, to go to YouTube, Sobriety in Black, or you can just search Black Sobriety. I think I pop up, might be the first one to pop up, Sobriety in Black. Feel free to, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you're on IG, shout out to my IG folks. You can also go ahead and subscribe to that channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can start. I think with 1,000 subscribers, you can start going live like anywhere. Like I don't have to be on a desktop or something like that. I forget. There's some extra thing you get, but definitely do that. Again, if you order the book, you can order my book, Sobriety in Black, on Amazon.com. Just type in Sobriety in Black. You'll see it there. My name is Hanief Saterfield. Or you can go to sobrietyinblack.com, and the links will be there too. My link tree, if you're on IG, all you got to do is click the link in the bio, and you'll go to my link tree, which will have everything there. All right, where you can find me. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, or I do consultations, so you can DM me if you need to talk to me privately. I'll be doing a lot more things in the future, building up, trying to, you know, do more to contribute to the sobriety space. All right. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to leave you with, let me see. Try to leave you with this last clip. Or you know what? Oh, it's gone. But you know what? I think we've done enough. I think it's good. So I'm going to leave you with just fantastic greetings. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Enjoy yourself in your sobriety. Keep pushing. If you're there, if you're not there, thinking about getting there, go on and join us. We've got your back. And if you need any help or any direction or have any questions, feel free to get with me. All right. And until next time, peace.